Okay, let's get going. We're gonna work on some balance stuff, a little bit of play, and then we'll finish with a couple of restorative poses and a nice bit of a longer Shavasana since it's Friday today. And we're coming off of a long weekend last weekend. Okay, so just come to standing. And take a second, you can have your eyes open or eyes closed. But over the next kind of 3, just slow inhales, slow exhales. You don't need to make them any deeper. I want you to focus on the exhale, just letting yourself get a little heavier to the ground. Feeling a little bit more pressure through that transverse arch. Okay, we're going to bring our feet a little closer together. And bring the hands onto our hips. And again, we're just going to bend and straighten the knees and hips just a little bit. Finding kind of this dynamicness through the tripod of the foot. So where you'll feel the heel kind of touch down and where the heel gets light. Maybe you're going to play with a little bit of the pelvic position by either engaging and drawing that pelvic floor, thinking of coccyx to pubis or pubis to coccyx. Kind of either rotating the pelvis back or rotating the bottom of the pelvis or the top of the pelvis forward. So just kind of play with those. And then find somewhere where you feel like you're kind of in a happy medium between all of those dynamic, and you've got some pressure into the feet, and the feet are kind of working here and active, so are the ankles. We're going to shift our weight onto one leg, okay? And then what I'm going to invite you to do is just kind of explore that other leg, take it behind, take it across, kind of find the sweet spot where you feel just really steady and connected through that stance leg. And you're just going to hang there for a couple of breaths. You could also play with the pitch of the torso. And again, finding that spot where no one part of the leg is like screaming at you, but you can feel the foot, the ankle, the muscles of the leg like toned to keep you steady there. And then you're going to bring that foot back down to the ground. Okay, so now this is going to be our stance leg, and we're going to do the same thing. Take that other leg and just move it around and feel for where it feels like you're able to just stay steady on the spot you're on, and you're not fighting with anything, any part of the leg, any part of your structure. Again, play with the pitch of the torso, forward or back, to find that sweet spot where you feel the joints kind of adapting to shifting balances here. But that stance leg just feels steady and strong. And where you put that swing leg was probably different on your sides based on what's your up leg and what's your down leg. We're going to go back to that first leg. Again, find that sweet spot where it's like, I can like hang here. And then I want us to play, once you're there for a few breaths, with where does that swing leg and or torso, what's the change that needs to happen that has us want to go forward off that stance leg? So maybe you come in, you find that balanced, steady point, and then again play with what has to happen with the torso. Where's that swing leg got to go to really quickly get off of that leg? Some of us might need to relax and think of just letting the toes be long, or adding a yaw of the toes to help get them out of the way to get off that balanced stance leg. And then we're going to do the same thing on that other side. So again, find where you just feel like, boom, I can stick the landing here on this one leg. And then pitch or play with what you do with that other leg and the torso to have it be really easy that you roll off that leg quickly. That you go to balance on your other leg. Good, and then you're going to come just to standing again. Eyes can be opened or closed. And just notice what you notice. There might be a sense of blood flow or aliveness kind of further up from the feet up the body. You might notice a sense of the inhale and exhale having changed, where the pressure is in your feet, and just your sense of verticality. So just notice what you notice. Okay, so we're going to come to that one leg being the stance leg again. And this time the task that we're going to explore is that same hand as the stance leg. We're going down to the ground to pick something up with it. Know that you have the other half of the body to help you do that and coordinate that. So go down and pick it up, and don't just pay attention to the picking up hand. Notice what you do with your other hand and other leg to help you easily get down and easily get up. To easily get down and feel like, oh, okay, I'm not going to fall on my face, and easily get up. And then I want you to switch hands. So with the opposite hand to the stance leg, you're going to bring it down and come up. So we're putting a different rotation in the system, yeah? So again, what does that other hand do to help this feel easy, steady? Like I can adjust to the changing center of mass. Good. Okay, so we've still got that stance leg, but now the leg in the back is the leg that we're actually going to load. So that back leg, so we're going down again with the same hand as what's now our stance leg. I'm going down and back up. Again, what do I do with the other half of the body to make it easy? To make it so that I can get down there. Okay? Putting more load into what is our back leg here. Good. So we're going to switch our stance leg. So now it's that other leg. And again, the task is we're going down with that same hand. Oh, I actually have a little piece of paper. The cats were in here shredding for me. If I don't feed them on the hour, they find paper and shred it. Use the other half of your body to help you do the task. It's not just the hand going down to pick up. What if that hand, instead of going to the outside of that back weighted leg, it comes to the inside? Good, okay, come on out. Just stand in both legs. Take a second, notice what you notice there. Okay, so I'm going to give us kind of some tasks that we're going to do. And the whole thing is you have a whole body that can do it. You also have 2 hands and 2 legs that like to do things differently, right? I hold a fork with one hand and a knife with the other. They do different things. When I write, I hold the paper with one hand and I write with the other hand. They're doing different things. If I pitch a baseball, one hand is throwing the ball and the other arm is helping create this rotation that I go around, okay? So the tasks that we do, we're not trying to make them symmetrical. We're letting our right arm and leg and left arm and leg coordinate them the way they want to, okay? So what we're going to do is come down into chair pose. So a little deeper than what that athletic stance is. We're just like in a little bit of a squat. Watch that your heels aren't pinned to the floor here. Okay, because that'll make it harder for you to move the center of mass here in a second when we do. We're going to shift our weight into a leg. Having learned where it helps us be more stable on that stance leg, do what you need to do with that other leg as you reach down to the floor with that same hand. Okay, that other leg is up in the air behind us. So we're in balancing half moon, yeah? You're doing whatever you need to do with your opposite hand to be steady and stable here. You're going to bend that stance knee and bring that leg that was in the air, those toes to the ground, and then that knee to the ground. Good. Come back up to standing. So now that you have a sense of what the task is, if this leg that is our stance leg is our up leg, in order for us to kind of stay balanced on it, we need the down leg to be more in line with it. So as I come down over this leg, I'm going to be helped, if this is my up leg, by letting my down leg drift across. I won't fight my stance leg to get to the floor. If this is my down leg, I'm going to probably be helped by keeping that up leg a little bit more bent and under me as I come down, and then reaching it out. Okay, so let your legs work together. So if as you're going down, you're like, I'm just fighting that leg, there's no space for me to move down to the floor, you got to do something different. Okay, so with that stance leg, let that other leg, if you feel like you're fighting yourself, let it drift behind. Find the floor with the hands or find a block with the hands. Okay? Just let yourself be there for a second. Really get steady in that stance leg. And then you're going to play with opening up towards that long edge of your mat. That top arm might not need to reach to the ceiling. It might need to reach somewhere else in order for you to maintain being on that stance leg. Okay? Now you're going to take that leg that's up in the air, bend the knee. You're going to drop it down behind that front leg. Lower the toes and then the knee to the floor. Release the top of the foot to the floor. We're going to sit back. Extend out that leg long. Then we're going to rock forward. Back foot comes off the ground. We're going to try to pull that heel to the bum. We want to get some tension through the thigh stuff. Good. Release the top of that foot to the ground. Sit back on that heel. You can keep the top of the foot down on the floor, or you can let the top of the foot come off. Okay, rock forward again. This time we're gonna spin that knee that's on the ground. So now we're facing the long end of that mat. Okay, from here, we're gonna rock to the short end, back up. Rock to the short end, back up. So I'm yawing over that shin. The thigh is pitching out to the side, or rolling, I guess, technically, out to the side. And I'm reaching in the direction of that forward knee. Good. Now I'm going to bring the hands forward and on the ground in front of me. And I'm going to walk that leg out further. Turn the toes to face the same direction I am. Okay, from here we're going to sit back towards that heel. And then rock forward. Sit back towards that heel. And then rock forward. Keeping the inside of the foot towards my opposite leg. So rather than rolling onto the heel, then we bias the inner thigh stuff more than the back of the thigh stuff. Good. Hands come forward again. This time we're going to turn towards that extended out straight leg. Play with how you do that with the reaching arm. It might be that you need to reach forward above your head and then up to the ceiling. Some of us might find it works better to take the elbow in the direction of our hip and then open up towards the ceiling. Some of us might find it works better to go along the inside of that opposite hand and across the chest. So give that hand that's coming off the floor a task, a direction that you want it to take. See which one agrees with you today. Good. That hand's going to stay on the floor, same thing, but now we're going the other way. Again, this side, because we're going to be really loading up the inner thigh stuff, you're going to have to change how you create that rotation. What you do with that other arm. You might even need to change where you place that hand. So you get the right kind of leverage to once you get into position, it's like, okay, I feel like I'm held here, I'm supported here. Good, then walk the hands back, bring the knees together. We're gonna rock back, into my closet door. We're gonna rock back, get our feet underneath us. Heels don't have to be down. And then press yourself, come on up to standing. You can roll up vertebra by vertebra or just press yourself on up. Okay, I'm going to try to remember that and we'll do it on the other side. And then we're going to do something else. So we're going to shift our weight into that other leg as our stance leg. Okay. Bring that hand down to the floor. Now, if this is your up leg, you're probably going to need to take that back leg in behind in order to have it let you down. If this is your down leg, to help it keep you up, what you might want to do is keep your other leg tucked in until you get a hand to the floor. Now I've got 2 balance points. Now I'm going to work on reaching out that leg and where I want to put that arm. Okay. Now I'm going to fold up that leg again. Bring that knee or the toes first to the floor and then the knee to the floor. And I'm going to rock back on that heel. You can put the top of your foot on the floor. I could let the sole of the front foot come off. And I'm just going to rock forward and back a couple of times. Next time I come forward, I'm going to pick up my back foot, bringing that heel towards my bum. Your front heel might lift depending on how much you can lift up that back foot. Keep trying to bring your back heel to your bum, to your bum, to your bum. You might get a calf or hamstring cramp. To your bum. Good. And then you're going to release it. Rock back. Now I think we spin on the knee that's on the floor. So we're turned to the long edge of the mat. And we're just going to rock in the direction of that front knee. Again, the heel will come off the floor when it needs to. Don't try to keep that front heel planted on the ground. Especially if you like running and hiking and things, you don't need more ankle mobility. It'll make those things actually harder and feel worse. Good. Okay, we're going to pause here. We're going to spin that heel back. So now we've got that long lever out. We're going to walk the hands forward and rock back towards that heel and forward. Good, we're going to plant the hands here. The same hand as the knee that we're on are going to stay planted. And that other arm is going to do something to turn us towards that extended leg. You don't need to keep your hips pinned where they are. Let things move as they need to. Okay, now we're going to plant that opposite hand and take that hand as the same as the knee that we're on. It's going to move in a way that starts to rotate us away from that extended leg. Just ease yourself into that rotation. This is a lot of slack is out of our system with that leg extended out to the side. Good. Let that go. I think now we just bring both legs together, tuck those toes under, rock back onto those feet, and bring ourselves all the way up. So you can roll up, or you can just press up. Now, get yourself a door frame or a counter ledge or a doorknob. Something that feels secure in front of you. And we're going to just play here with the whole idea of how fast can I make space and drop down into that space. So maybe the feet are turned out slightly. But the whole point is I'm going to let myself come down, and then I'm going to use my muscles to bring myself up. So that's where if you're nervous about dropping yourself down, hang on to the doorknob or to the counter, something so that you're not worried about falling back onto your butt. Okay? So we're just going to let the heels do what they need to do, let the knees, the thighs do what they need to do, and it's about get down. The work comes when we stand up. Gravity's rotating us down, we come back up. Gravity's rotating us down, we press back up. Think of the thigh bones, the shin bones, the feet. They're all levers, and with those shorter levers, we can move quickly. Okay, the torso is another lever. So we can move quickly. If you know which is your down leg, I'm going to invite you to tense it up this next time before we drop down and yaw your up leg slightly away from your down leg. And you'll feel how you're more over that down leg to go down. And then I want you to tense the up leg and bias it to come up. So tense your down leg, come down, up leg to come up. Down leg, up leg. So we're kind of squatting in a circle. One more. Good. Now, you can keep tensing the down leg and the up leg like we just were, but the other piece I want you to play with is when we go down, thinking of the pelvic floor muscles, drawing from back to front. When we come up, they're drawing front to back. Okay? It's not squeezing the anus. Just think of like saran wrap from the back of that coccyx, pulling to the pubis, and then from the pubis, pulling to the coccyx. Okay? Good. Good, let that go. I just want to check in with those of you live on the class. If any of those kind of directions that I gave helped a feeling of more space as you went down and or more clarity when you came up in terms of how to get yourself up. Awesome.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, and the legs want to work as a team, whereas if they're both tense, it can sort of disrupt the coordination or not make it as clear of how's the best way to move this center of mass quickly. If you watch powerlifters, you'll see they get under it with the one side and they bring it up on the other side. And it's not that muscles aren't working, like then our muscles become unbalanced. They don't. It's the order of sequencing just changes is all. Okay, I want to check our time. Okay, we're good. Okay, so we are going to come down to the floor on our bellies. Just laying down. You can put the forehead on the backs of your hands for a second here. And just take a minute, maybe wiggle the pelvis or roll the pelvis side to side. Maybe like lengthen the low back and arch the low back a few times. Tap the tops of the feet on the floor, maybe even bend and straighten the knees. And then just arrive here on our bellies on the floor. We're going to take our hands from underneath our forehead out to the sides. And then our forehead is going to come just onto the floor. Those of us with a facial geometry that has our nose maybe larger than what the forehead can accommodate, you might need to put a towel underneath your forehead so you don't squish your nose here in a second. I'm going to take my glasses off. Okay, so hands are on the floor, elbows are up towards the ceiling and out to the side. Kind of like scarecrow arms, except for the Hands are on the floor, forearms perpendicular with the floor. So what we're going to do is push and pull with the hands so that we roll to one side the head, and then push and pull so the head rolls to the other side. Okay, now as you're doing this, I want you to play with where your fingers point, where your elbows point as you push and pull. And play with these just lines of direction and tension, and find the one that for you has the neck really just relax and a sense of being able to roll across that forehead. That might mean that one elbow comes down towards the floor even as you look away from that side. Maybe one hand needs to come in closer to you and one hand needs to be further out. Okay, and then let yourself rest in center. Again, place the backs of the hands underneath the forehead. Just take a couple of breaths there to note and take a second to notice what you notice. Okay, I'm going to get you to slide the right big toe away from the pelvis, get long, and then the left big toenail away from the pelvis so you get nice and long down the inner seam of the leg and out into those big toes. And then reach the pinky toes wide. Okay, hands are going to come up underneath the shoulders. And we're going to think about reaching the elbows towards the floor, forearms towards the floor as we peel up the chest, collarbones, and then lowering yourself back down. And we're going to peel ourselves up again and then lower ourselves down. Okay, with this, I'm going to keep my down arm in closer, and I'm going to take my up arm and reach it out in front. So I'm up on those fingertips. And again, I'm going to reach my down elbow towards the floor and press up through those fingertips. So there'll be some rotation or a yaw of the chest as I'm lifted up here. And I'm going to lower myself back down. I'm going to play with kind of the reaching of the elbows as I lift and lower. Up into Sphinx. Then I'm going to take both hands out long, up on the fingertips. And again, try to slide like the fingertips away from the pelvis as I lift up into Sphinx pose. And I want to find where I can get into my mid and upper back, and that this isn't an active extension just from my lumbar spine. So play with where those hands are, where the elbows reach. Think of rolling the shoulders down your back as the chest lifts. And just play with some different configurations of those hands. Okay, then we're going to come back down, rest the back of the head on the back of the hands. Just take a couple of breaths there and notice what you notice. Gonna slide the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under, press yourself up onto your hands and knees. We'll walk the hands back, sit back onto those heels. Grab my glasses. Okay, you're gonna need if you've got a felt pad, because Carrie, I know you have one of those, you'll grab that, and a pressed foam block. Otherwise, you need a couple of blankets, and we're just folding a couple of blankets or towels so that you have a platform for your torso and a platform for your bum, torso and head. So it could be two felt pads or a couple of blankets folded, and then either a couple of yoga blocks or a long jump band. I've got like the light resistance here. So pelvis is going to be on the pads, and then the torso, now depending on the length, the head could be off and on the floor, or you could shimmy down if once you get here it feels a little weird or like your head's kind of falling off. Then shimmy down so that from head to pelvis, you're on that kind of torso wide, rib cage wide blanket that you've folded. Okay. And just have the blocks and the jump band kind of handy. So first placement is we're going to have the elbows on the floor, and we're going to bring the hands to the front of the the pelvis. Okay, then you're going to leave your right hand on the pelvis, and your left hand is just going to come out to the side and rest on the ground with the palm open to the ceiling. So if I turn my head, I'll kind of look at my elbow crease, my forearm. Let's take about 3 more slow breaths here. With one side hand on the front of the pelvis, elbow on the floor. The other side palm to the ceiling, elbow on the floor, forearm on the floor. Okay, we're going to turn our head back to center. Bring that hand that's up to the ceiling back to the pelvis, and we're going to switch sides. So now that other side, the elbow is going to come up along, kind of out from the ear, and when you turn to look, you'll look at that elbow and that forearm, and the palms open to the ceiling. We're just going to take about 5 nice slow breaths here. Okay, we're going to turn that head back center. Now this is where you'll either take your yoga blocks or your band. So yoga blocks are simply, we're going to use them either on just below the knee or just above the knee. Bring the soles of the feet together. The legs will open up, and then whatever height you need, you're just going to rest the thigh bones and or the shins. Some of us, the below the knee is going to create more of a like contained kind of sense and supported sense. Some of us above the knee on the thigh is going to. If you've got the band, you could try it with the band. The other day when I was playing with this, I really liked how it felt below my knee on the shins and opening the legs up. We're not going for a sense of stretch in the inner thighs. Again, we're going for this sense of kind of support and containment through the lower body. You can play with how far the feet are from the pelvis. And then go back to whatever arm position you kind of felt like as soon as you took a couple breaths, it was like, oh, this is good here. And if you're not sure there was no difference between them, just pick one. But if there was a difference, go to that arm position that kind of had you just have an extra little like sigh. Oh, yeah. This is where I need to breathe today. Take 3 more breaths here. And then spin your head back if it's turned. Reposition the arms. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor. If you've got the blocks, you'll scoot them out of the way. If you've got the band, you'll slip it off. And we're going to roll to the left or the right side, whichever. And just scoot that little torso, pelvis to head platform out of the way. If you want, you could leave a fold underneath the head. And we're going to take those legs out long. Or maybe once you're on your side, you're feeling like, oh, I actually want to do Shavasana on my side today, and that's a-okay too. Take a couple of moments here to like slip socks on if you want to, get a blanket to pull over you. Just get yourself nice and cozy and settled. As you're settling in, relax the muscles around the eyes. Let the forehead smooth out. Relax the cheeks, the tongue, and your gums. Let your attention wander. You're going to practice just sitting back and observing where the attention goes. You don't need to change where that attention goes. You don't need to direct it. Just observe. And with the next exhalation, just let your attention sit with your breath. Paying attention, the breath in and the breath out. Noting the qualities of the inhale. Is it warm? Is it cool? Is it smooth or jagged? Soft or stiff? Full or empty? And with the completion of your next breath in, let your attention move now to the qualities of the exhalation. As the exhale passes through the nostrils, is it cool? Is it warm? Is it smooth or jaggedy? Soft or stiff? Slow or fast? Let your attention move from the breath to feeling the body rest on the support, the ground, feeling areas of pressure, tingling, numbness. You're going to start to bring movement back to the body. That might be by way of wiggling the fingers and the toes, or stretching the legs and the arms out long, or tucking the legs and the arms in like a ball, or rolling, rocking a body part side to side. Take the next few moments to bring movement back and to find your way onto your side. And just take a second on your side before using the hand and the arms to press yourself up to a seated position. Let's just bring our palms together and we'll gently rub the palms just until you feel some warmth come to the palms of the hands, to the fingertips. And then bring those palms up, just maybe cupping the eyes. I like to let my fingers wrap around my forehead and just come onto the crown of the head. Just breathe in and out. And as the warmth dissipates, and maybe move those heels of the hands to the temples, to the cheeks. And then palms back together. Thumbs just to the left of the breastbone at heart center and Anjali Mudra. Breathing in a sense of okayness and breathing out a sense of Om Shanti Shanti, peace.